everyone. It's time again to recap the latest news from the solar PV industry, compiled by the American Solar Energy Society. I'm Jay Warmke with SolarPVTraining.com, and this is what's happening in the wonderful world of solar for the week of July 6th. The Republican budget reconciliation bill that recently passed both the House and the Senate along party line votes effectively ends all incentive programs and tax credits for the wind and solar industry by the end of 2027. Commercial and utility scale solar projects already permitted must be completed and placed in service by December 31st, 2027 in order to qualify for the 30% tax incentive. Alternatively, if a project has not yet been permitted and is beginning construction within 1 year of the enactment of this bill, then they will have 4 years to complete that project and still qualify for the tax credits. The bill also eliminates all residential solar tax incentives that are completed after December 31st of this year, and the foreign entity of concern tax that was in the Senate bill originally, which imposed a tax on energy that was generated that any component or any part of that project contained Chinese products, which is pretty much all of them. That was eliminated in the latest version that was passed and signed by the president. Despite headwinds imposed by recent changes in these incentive programs, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, projects that renewables will soon overtake natural gas as the leading source of electrical generation within the U.S. During the next 3 years, FERC projects that there will be no new nuclear capacity added to the grid, despite what you hear. While at the same time, they project utilities will close about 25,000 megawatts of coal power plants, or about 14% of the existing coal power plants by the end of 2029. FERC also projects that new generation from wind and solar will grow at a rate at least 6 times that of natural gas generation over the next 3 years. In fact, for the past several years, more than 90% of all new generation has been wind and solar that's been added to the grid. If these projections hold, wind, solar, and hydro will overtake natural gas as the leading source of electrical generation on the grid at some point in 2028. And no surprise to us, residential homeowner electric bills have been going up. Over the past 3 years, investments in costly transmission and distribution infrastructure to replace aging assets, the modernization of the grid, and improvement to improve the resiliency in the face of extreme weather events are often cited as the reason for a 6.9% annualized growth in the average U.S. residential electric prices, according to a recent report by EIA. This pressure to enhance grid infrastructure and add new generating capacity is likely to increase as the U.S. faces a projected 16 to 30% increase in electricity demand over the next 5 years. Last week saw a heat wave strong enough that the chairman of the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, or FERC, warned that, quote, some of our systems really came close to the edge. One of these systems that was at or near its capacity was the PJM interconnection. This is the U.S.'s largest grid operator, serving 13 Midwestern states as well as the District of Columbia. The system hit peak demand of 161 gigawatts between 5 and 6 p.m. last Monday. This exceeded its demand forecast for the summer by 5%. The U.S. Energy Information Administration notes that both PJM and ISO New England hit multi-year highs on June 23rd and June 24th. Wholesale electric prices hit $1.33 per kilowatt hour on those dates. A week earlier, peak prices were at about 52 cents per kilowatt hour. FERC Commissioner Christie summed up the situation, stating, quote, you never know about the next time, and there's going to be a next time. We've got to have more resources, and that's the bottom line. The New Jersey State Senate unanimously passed smart solar permitting legislation on June 30th by a vote of 39-0. The bill will expedite the approval process for residential solar and battery systems, delivering more solar installation and energy bill savings to residents throughout that state. The legislation would require that the Department of Community Affairs make an online automated permitting platform for rooftop solar and battery installations available within a year of the passing of that bill's signing. The households with code-compliant projects will be able to avoid costly and time-consuming red tape and obtain these permits online instantly. And that's the news from the solar industry for this week. We'll see you again next week.